sweeties, how are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim. If this is your first time of coming across this channel, sweetheart, kindly smash that subscribe button, turn your notification so you are notified each time I upload, and please give this video a thumb up. I appreciate you all so much, and I'm saying a very big shout out to every one of you for the support you all shower me here with. I am grateful, and you all are super sweet. So today we'll be talking something very important, and it's about the Jewish lobby in America, which is called AIPAC, right? They actually brought out $100 million to unseat Black people in Congress, right? And as it stands, they are doing all they can to unseat those Black members in Congress. And I am asking, and if you are in support with anything going on, or like if you are against the genocide that it's going on in Palestine, you are also likely to be on, you are also their target. So people are asking them, why do you have to pay all this money for people to support what the evil you are doing? And then because you do not want people to know what you are doing, you want to lay off the people that are speaking up for the oppressed. Let's get into this video.
Just imagine AIPAC, the Jewish lobby in America. They can find $100 million to try and unseat Black members of Congress and anyone who does not toe the line about what they want for the Israeli government and taxpayers' money. I want to know, when did America become the breast that they suck the milk out of our taxpayers' money? When exactly did these PACs put so much fear into Americans that if you disagree with apartheid in Israel, with settlers stealing people's houses, that they have the power to unseat Congress people? I wonder if they realize that all that money that AIPAC, all the money that they're getting, that they could send that money to Israel and leave the American taxpayer money alone. I wonder why those people in Congress don't tell them, all of these PACs, all of these organizations, you know what? You guys have a lot of money. We have no problem with you sending it directly to the Israeli government. This bullshit with these PACs have to stop. No one should have this kind of influence on the American government. It almost feels like America is not America. When did we become second-class citizens to another country? And we need to stop sending our money everywhere. We just need to stop sending our money until everybody in America has health care, has a decent living. We need to stop sending them our money. And we need to elect people who will vote no, not to send our money to these places.
So I've been trying to do these videos without being deemed as anti-Semitic. It's not an easy task to accomplish when you're trying to notify someone of something, especially against a certain demographic of people in this world. Now, I don't even want to get into the whole definition of anti-Semitic, because truthfully to me it is very vague. It leaves a lot to be interpreted. But let's get at it. So I've had several videos trying to illuminate this challenge that we have in the African American community. 2022. Summer Lee. AIPAC invested $2 million into the incumbent Democrat to be her. She still won in Pennsylvania. I brought that to y'all. Affirmative Action, Edward Blum, American Alliances, who is backed by, also, he's a person, conservative. But who do we think is funding him? They never let you know who's funding him. I brought y'all that video. They cannot find who's funding him. I put my money on that it's AIPAC and ADL. I put my money on that. Why do I say this? Because I want to just say it plain and clear. We have been made the face of anti-Semitism since Malcolm X. They have wrote pieces on us being the biggest contributors to anti-Semitism in this country. Us. I will do a follow-up video with some of the articles. You understand if you see this, being a person of color. Now, we have the thing with the Kevin McCarthy's of the world, right? Who are also Jewish, who is pushing these things. So we're talking about $100 million against 6 women, 1 African-American man. That tells me that the other 4 black women, yeah, we are the problem, and we've been the problem, i.e. affirmative action, i.e. the Fearless Fund, i.e. corporate contracts, i.e. diversity, equity, inclusion. It's all gone. And these are the people behind it. I'm just going to say it for what it is. We unwillingly and unknowingly, we got ourselves here. How do we get ourselves out? They money don't mean shit. We know it's coming. We need to get ourselves together, organize, because they have been bringing the smoke since 2012. We just didn't know they was bringing the smoke. Now we know who's bringing the smoke. They money don't mean nothing if we organize. Let's show them what we are about. You can put 100 million, you can put 100 billion, but if the people know what's coming, we can get behind these candidates and support them. 2024, we have over 400 seats coming up. Y'all, if you are in your state, we need a process and we need a system so we can vet all these fucking candidates and know who we are putting into Congress as a collective. Because see, we looking at them as individuals for our state, and yes, each state, make sure you vet that representative, put them on here. We need to be doing private investigations on these mofos. Bring them to TikTok. As a community, we can understand who we are putting into Congress and the Senate at a higher level as a whole. Because what they're doing, they manipulating and bamboozling us. They saying they for one thing and they for something else. This is our time. We can get in front of this. Their money don't mean nothing. They've been doing this shit. They've been backing candidates against African American incumbents. They have. Look it up. What we don't know is this. During the mailing of the 2016 elections, y'all. During the mail of the 2016 elections, Israel was one of the biggest meddlers in that election. That's who was redacted. Research that shit. That's who was redacted. Israel was redacted. Mueller, they redacted Israel's participation in the meddling of the election. They focused on Russia. They have been coming at us, y'all. I don't know why when we say something, it's like, oh my God, the world's falling, it's breaking. Y'all, we know what's coming. Get in front of it. Y'all can talk about y'all don't want to vote. Don't vote. But guess what? Understand this. This is bigger than you. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than us. They are trying to ensure that we are back into the Tulsa days to where we don't have anything. They are trying to take us down. This is just a one step on a long road ahead. Look up who is been behind repealing all things civil rights related for African Americans, black people, indigenous, whatever y'all want to call yourselves. Look who is behind it. I keep telling y'all, wash the hidden hand and follow that damn money.
Listen up, because this is terrible. These are the only people in our government who have called for a ceasefire and condemned Israel. And this is the Zionist lobby to our government. What do these two have in common? Well, because these people in our government spoke out and condemned Israel, AIPAC, that Zionist lobby, is expected to spend at least $100 million in Democratic primaries in an effort to knock out these people from our government, to eliminate criticism to Israel in our government. And this is far from the first time AIPAC has done this and is going to do this. They do this all the time. If you criticize Israel, AIPAC will swoop in and give millions of dollars to your opponents, to the other party, to get them elected in your place, because they want to crush all criticism of Israel in our government. A big way of how they spend their money is through what's called the United Democracy Project, a pro-Israel super PAC that's affiliated with AIPAC. What they are doing is entirely legal. They've been influencing our government for decades, and unless lobbying is banned, they will continue to do this in the future. So if one of these people is one of your representatives, in the next election, make sure to vote for them if you don't want AIPAC to overrun our government. Thank you for watching. Free Palestine.
Straight facts, no chaser. I got a question for all those people here talking about what Biden is not doing for Palestine and Israel right now. My question to you is, what does Donald Trump and the Republicans want to do? If they were in office right now, what would they do?
Israeli troops are fighting inside Gaza City with over 200 hostages who remain captive there, and civilian casualties mount inside Gaza. As President of the United States, what would you be urging Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to do at this moment? Governor DeSantis.
I would be telling Bibi, finish the job once and for all with these butchers, Hamas. They're terrorists. They're massacring innocent people. They would wipe every Jew off the globe if they could. He cannot live with that threat right by his country. That Hamas should release every hostage and they should unconditionally surrender.
Israel has the right and the responsibility to defend itself. I would tell him to smoke those terrorists on his southern border, and then I'll tell him as President of the United States, I'll be smoking the terrorists on our southern border. That's his responsibility. This is our responsibility.
Not only do you have the responsibility and the right to wipe Hamas off of the map, we will support you. We will be there with you. I would tell President Biden with great clarity, if you want to stop the 40+ attacks on military personnel in the Middle East, you have to strike in Iran. If you want to make a difference, you cannot just continue to have strikes in Syria on warehouses. You actually have to cut off the head of the snake, and the head of the snake is Iran and not simply their proxies.
The fact is that Israel and their intelligence community failed. They failed here, and they failed the people of the state of Israel. And so we need to work closely and better together to make sure, one, that they're degraded, and two, that we know everything that's going on inside the Gaza Strip when it's going on, so that something like this can't happen to kill 1,400 individuals again.
We need to be very clear-eyed to know there would be no Hamas without Iran. There would be no Hezbollah without Iran. There would not be the Houthis without Iran. And there wouldn't be the Iranian militias in Syria and Iraq that are trying to hit our military men and women if it hadn't been for Iran. And who is funding Iran right now? China is buying oil from Iran. Russia is getting drones and missiles from Iran. There is an unholy alliance. We need to be clear-eyed. The last thing we need to do is to tell Israel what to do. The only thing we should be doing is supporting them and eliminating Hamas. It is not that Israel needs America. America needs Israel. They are the tip of the spear when it comes to this Islamic terrorism, and we need to make sure that we have their backs in that process.
All right. Every last one of them were talking about annihilating Palestinian people. Get rid of all of them. Genocide. Exactly what they called for. Not one of them has asked for a ceasefire. So you vote for the party that wants to kill them all, and not the one that said, let's have a ceasefire To get what? To get the innocent people out. But you want a ceasefire to stop it all. Well, who's going to stop a war because America says so? The only thing you can have is an ally, in a sense, say that, look, I think you need to stop this down just so we can get the hostages and innocent people out of the damn country. You're killing innocent people worse than they did. And that's true. But what do you want? For it to completely end? Then we would have to go to war with Israel to stop it. We'd have to stop giving them money. We'd have to stop being in the UN because they're a part of the UN. We have to protect the group that we're in. Palestinians are not. They're not a part of the UN. I mean, I understand you guys don't really understand this shit. And I understand that you're stuck in your feelings. I get that shit. But factually, there is nothing they can do that we can do. We can march against it, exactly. We can take our vote away, but then what? Give it to somebody who said they want to annihilate the Palestinians? I mean, it makes some motherfucking sense. You're gonna do what you wanna do. But I look at it this way. You're more than likely gonna fuck yourself even more going for Trump. Why? Because he says he wants to take your rights away. He says exactly what you don't want, but just because Biden isn't doing what you want to do, you're giving them hope. You're giving them, oh, we're going to vote for you. We're not in our feelings right now, but we're just going to vote for Trump because he's a total antithesis of what Biden wants. Ask yourself what Biden wants. Democracy. Ask yourself what Donald Trump wants. A dictatorship. Which one of those motherfuckers is going to take your rights away? Which one of those motherfuckers can you even talk about? Right now, at this moment, under Biden, you can tell him what you fucking feel and no problems. Under Trump, what he wants to do is jail you for having these thoughts. And you think riding with Trump is better. Self-destruction is what you're headed for. I speak facts, straight facts, no chaser. Fuck your feelings.
We must therefore reject the idea that because Israel calls itself a Jewish state, opposing its brutal apartheid system is anti-Semitic. There is nothing anti-Semitic about opposing injustice, particularly apartheid. Zionism does not equal Jewishness or Judaism. No one must manipulate scripture in the Bible or the Torah to promote ethnic cleansing, racism, and the mass murder of people. There are no special human beings with the right to massacre others so that they can benefit from the subsequent stolen land. We are all chosen people of God. We all loved by God, and we must oppose any form of inequality and racism, even by those who do it in the name of God. We must therefore never buy into the lie and propaganda that this is a religious war. This is not a holy war. It is an evil war by an evil regime that is driving an evil agenda.
What is America at this point? What is the United States of America? Because our government doesn't represent Americans, doesn't listen to Americans, and doesn't work for Americans. They are bought and paid for by Israel, and they work for Israel, and they do what Israel tells them to do. So it feels more like the United States of Israel. And there's like maybe 24 people in Congress who oppose Israel and are anti-Zionist. And AIPAC is already talking about investing $100 million into kicking them out of our government as well. That's way too much power for lobbyists from an apartheid state that is committing a genocide in the Middle East to have.
The last presidential election that was held in the US was almost entirely mobilized using the element of fear to propel voters out of their seats simply to stop Donald Trump from being president again. We are a little over a year away from the next presidential election, and I can already see those same exact fear tactics being used as we speak. And it's not even like one of those smear campaigns that politicians invest in because they are such fucking terrible people. We are literally watching in real time Biden lie like actually act out a lie in order to garner support for Israel and the genocide that they are currently conducting. The president has been nicknamed Genocide Joe, and he is not moving an inch. He is not listening to the American people at all. He is proudly pro-Israel. He is proudly giving more and more of our taxpayers' dollars to Israel. And the organizers on TikTok are not just talking, right? They are providing receipts. They are providing links. They are showing which politicians have actively supported giving billions of our taxpayers' dollars over to Israel year after year. They are going out of their way to show every single politician that has actively supported so much money being siphoned off to Israel that they have free healthcare in that country, and we don't have free healthcare here for our own citizens. We are starting to learn that politicians in over half the states in the U.S. have successfully pushed legislation that makes it illegal to boycott Israel. Let me repeat that for the people in the back. American politicians have made it illegal for Americans to determine where their taxpayers' dollars go in over half of the states in America. Your First Amendment rights be damned. Your needs as individual humans be damned, according to these American politicians. So let us be so abundantly clear. Americans no longer want their taxpayers' dollars to be used to fund a genocide. If you insist on holding us captive in this hellscape that is a bipartisan political system, you are going to have to build up and sell us a candidate that does not support genocide, that actively speaks out against genocide. You are going to have to sell us a candidate that can prove through the public records that they are not owned by the Israeli lobby. You are going to have to sell us a candidate that actively cares about climate change. You are going to have to sell us a candidate that actively is pursuing a plan to eliminate all student debt. You are going to have to sell us a candidate that actively works towards universal health care. And you're going to have to sell us a candidate that actively centers the need for reparations. You will not win the lesser of two evils argument with a candidate nicknamed Genocide Joe. We're a year out from this election, and I can tell you that with absolute certainty. And sell us a candidate that does not support genocide.
Not to be a downer, but we're probably never going to get a candidate that doesn't support Israel. Like, ever. It's basically impossible to campaign without being backed by AIPAC. 98% of candidates backed by AIPAC win elections because they throw millions of dollars into their campaigns. Go to their website and you go to who we support. See that they support candidates of all races, all genders, and both Republicans and Democrats. This is from the Intercept article, AIPAC distorts U.S. policy on Israel, Obama admits in book. This is a quote from Obama. By the time I took office, most congressional Republicans had abandoned any pretense of caring about what happened to the Palestinians. Even stalwart progressives were loath to look less pro-Israel than Republicans. Members of both parties worried about crossing the American Israel Public Affairs Committee. I don't know, it just seems like there's really no solution to this. Like, there's really no solution.
So the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, or AIPAC, is willing to spend $100 million trying to primary members of the squad. These are members of Congress who are against what Israel is doing to the Palestinian people and are calling for a ceasefire. And AIPAC does not like that, because AIPAC likes funding Republicans and conservative Democrats. And already members from the squad, Bush, Bowman, Lee, and Omar, have drawn primary opponents. And AIPAC is still looking for challengers for Tlaib, Presley, and Ocasio-Cortez. And the leader of the House, Hakeem Jeffries, hasn't said anything because he is a big recipient of AIPAC money. And in 2020, he condemned outside lobbying groups who were trying to recruit progressive Democrats to primary conservative Democrats. But when it comes to outside lobbying groups getting conservative Democrats to primary progressives, he's okay with that. And just because a lot of these squad members are very popular in the district doesn't mean they're going to win. They get a lot of their funding from small donors, which is why they're not beholden to big donors like AIPAC. But small donor donations are down, so it's going to be harder for them to go up against the kind of money that AIPAC has. And it also shows you how racist AIPAC is, that the people they're trying to primary are all people of color. We need to stop AIPAC and other lobbying firms from buying off our politicians or primarying them if they can't buy them off.
So this is all I got from these tissues, and sincerely speaking, when I saw that, I already know what they have been up to, because they are already scared that the mostly black people in that Congress, they have been giving it to them, and they have been outspoken more on what is going on and how, calling on them to cease fire. But then what I'm asking is, it looks like, US is also being run by Israel, because I don't see how AIPAC would be funding what is going on in Congress, or what is going on for them to unseat majorly the black people or the people of color there. The whole thing is just really a mess, sincerely speaking. And the fact that they keep looking for a way to cover all this up, or looking for a way to lie more about it, is even very hard. And then people are looking for a way to, like, how are they going to sell somebody that will, like, a candidate that will be there for the people? One of the person that spoke was like, it is very hard to see someone that does not support Israel or AIPAC. So, oh my goodness, like, the whole thing is just really difficult, because I don't see how a set of people, all they want to do is just to shut people down. And if you see all these people, if you see the faces of the people that they want to unseat, please vote them in the next election, because they are the people we need. People that are up for reparations, people that meant well for the that are not selfish. Why do they have to pay so much money to unseat them? Because they know that they are not people you can manipulate. It is really crazy how Jewish lobbying will just go any length to make sure that black people don't even smell that seed, or black people are just not doing okay, or looking for a way to make things really harder for them, or looking for a way to make things really very harder for them. It's really uncalled for, but then it is what it is. Let's keep all our eyes. Let's be really active with politics and what is going on and what they are trying to know. They already know that we know who they are, and we understand that they are the people. They are the bad guys. They know. People already know. It's all over. Why are they trying all they can to cover up also? With how many billion? Man, this is all I got. See you all in my next video. Bye for now.